Alright, welcome to part 2 of the Rain World 8% for Survivor guide. Now, I realized the first part was very long, much longer than I intended it to be. But a lot of things need to be covered in terms of this very detailed guide. I want to cover everything that can potentially be relevant in a run for all different types of skill levels in accordance to this game. For the rest of this, I've basically said everything that needs to be said in terms of small tech, movement, things you need to look out for, things that you should do in your own flavor comparative to everyone does this one thing and does it every time. Something more of that will come up in the third in the third section. Well, the fourth section actually. Yes. And yeah. So for this part, we'll be going through the entirety of drainage, be just entering into filtration. I'll just be going over what exactly should be done. I'll also be talking about how exactly enemy AI work and what you should look out for. And this will be relevant for the entirety of the run, especially for the moles that we'll see in part 3 in filtration. I'm just going to go now. You want to boost out of here. More often than not, you'll fail it. Also, one thing right now, when setting up splits, say on live split or otherwise, I recommend having a split when you enter the shelter and when you exit, because when you eventually want to compare how good you've done over time, I recommend that it should not deal with, it should deal with you actually doing gameplay, not with I'm pressing 5 buttons in a row and I'm doing well with it. Yes, it doesn't take that long to get to this next gate where you'd probably have your next split, but things should be, I would say it should be better on gameplay, not so much I'm pressing buttons and things happen, yay. Alright, so going through this next part, we're going to the left, down, and then to the right. This third one's a pole mimic, just be aware of that. That's the ideal way you want to do that. Because I waited so long, this purple spawned here. This is not common. This has only ever happened in the few times that I've been recording this. Do not expect a purple to be here. After I lead this away, I'll talk about the 2 ways you really go through this room. Okay, so there's 2 good ways to go through this room. You have the rock, or any throwable item potentially in your hand. There's only that one platform that I just came off of into this part right here when you just flop out and flop around right here and get a rock. Now you're up here, this is all flat ground here. If you happen to throw a rock here, you can immediately go into a roll only down here. Only by throwing the rock will you get far enough. Landing on that little slanted area will not be able to get you a roll. If you cannot do that, I recommend belly sliding into, belly sliding into the pipe. Now 2 things can happen. One, you could do the quick belly slide into pipes as you would normally want to by belly sliding and holding down into it. More often than not, you kind of be stuck with your body half inside of it, just because the belly slide will do a slowdown at the end of a belly slide. You won't be able to just press down to go into the pipe as easily. So you want to press A to jump to fast fall into the pipe and go in quickly. Now coming through this pipe, you want to get the boost out of it, but it is a very strange timing. I recommend you just go over it, or you could just mash A and be like, yeah, I made it, great. Okay, something that I just did that I probably shouldn't have ran into quickly. So we're jumping off onto the pole. Well, you're not grabbing the pole, but realize the pole is connected to a block that we want to land on, roll off of, jump on off of. Now there'll be these 3 berries. One is lit up white. You can't really see it right now because we can grab it. There's 3 berries here. Now it acts very strange on Slugcat depending on how we hit it, and otherwise sometimes keep it up. Sometimes it throws us down. More often than not, keep us up there for a little while, which is what we want because we want to go as far to the right as we can. Now, that is the best case scenario, to land on the corner and then roll into it. Say we fall down, you want to go up this. I do not recommend pressing jump to boost up to the top. Coming out of the water while holding onto a pipe will boost you up higher than you think you're going, so you'll already be at the top of the pipe before you even realize it. Now, jump up, go across, boost out. It's kind of awkward. Two little hops. Now you're up here. Now we're going down. I recommend 2 different ways to go to this room. One is an experimental way that I've only been doing recently, that I will also point out other ways to do it later in the level. The other way is the common way, which is to not do that. Belly slide into roll into, now you're up here. Normally it doesn't go like that. Landing on this sloped area, as I always say, sloped areas are evil and should be avoided at all costs. You're more likely or not to mess up your roll, or you'll just not do your roll like it did. But the point of this is to get up here, and then you could do another one, and then you can do another one. Now, something that you should be aware of. Now, the law that I will say of if you jump out of a roll from a high part on, then fall into a low part, is true to a degree. Now, what we really want to see is not so much falling from a high part onto a low part, but more that we are falling at, and Slugcat is at an angle that is basically vertical to the ground. If you saw, it failed there. I did not do the roll there. I wasn't falling from steep enough height. Like there, you can kind of see it's much steeper than when it failed. On some of the failures, that if you're way too far this way, you're not at the angle that a roll would work at. It's very strange to think about, but there's the roll that will always happen when you get out of a pounce, and then there's the roll that happens because of the natural angle that you're taking to everything. And then there's also the one coming off of speed, and then there's 1,000 other things that I could talk about, but realize that the second roll when coming off of here can be very strange, and you just need to watch out for how that works. Normally with how the angle of Slugcat's body. A lot of strange rolls can happen because of sloped areas. Like, you jump off of one block onto, like, right here, and then you start a roll. Stuff like that can happen due to random corners, random slopes. It's hard to explain all the strange possibilities in this game, because a lot of them are a lot of specific and cannot be easily recreated. I'm more going over what is consistently possible, not what, and then kind of saying what can be possible in the future. Now, something that I've personally done that I don't recommend someone new to this game to do, but someone who really knows what they're doing, you probably are going to pick up something somewhere across this room. So you'll go like this and totally not fail that roll by landing on that. Come up here, throw something behind you, and then I'm going for it. Do not go for a roll off of that like I did. I just wanted to see if it would work. I always like to hope things work. But basically what's happening is, you see with my inputs, I am belly sliding, throwing thing behind me, and then holding direction I am sliding in. Now this really only works on any flat surface. This is the only real flat surface that you can just slide straight off of and keep your speed. I can keep tapping jump when I hit the ground to keep up that speed, and that is very beneficial because I'm way here going into the pipe by the time the speed starts to taper off, if I get it correctly. It is much faster, but if you fail it, you're now like over here, and jumping out of this isn't the best thing in the world. But it is good. Just failing doing this is a lot bigger, a lot stranger than you'd think it is. really just slows you down. Another thing is that, yes, you're trying to point in the direction you're sliding after you throw the thing behind you. Don't worry about that as much as throwing the thing behind you. This is because I'm sure you're aware of throw something in a direction, you're trying to go right, you're trying to throw the thing right, and then you want to go back to the left. I just tried to throw it to the right, but I went to the left. It's because the thing doesn't actually leave your hand until just a little bit after you've thrown it. So I would make sure that you have thrown it before you ever attempt to point forward. Because as long as you've thrown it behind you, you've kept that speed a good amount of distance. Pointing forward back in the direction you're going in keeps that speed for an even longer distance. Don't ask me why that works, it just does, and it's amazing. At this point we should start moving on. Going through this pipe, we're in the gate room, try to boost up and then bounce once. Well, jump at the right time and go through. Dude, splits in 2 different places I recommend for this room. Well, 3 different places. Either when you enter the room, when you exit the room, or when all the things are locked, like right now. Or some people do other stuff. Just do something that's consistent and that you can always make sure it's different from other people. Something about gates that you should know now is that it is still debatable whether just going for it, maybe throwing some stuff, is faster than rolling, going to that, and then jumping out from the middle and then going straight out. It's very easy to mess the backflip roll. It's really easy to mess that up comparative to just running for it, and often that will waste you time as you will land on one of the ledges, one of these little stupid slope surfaces, and then I'll mess it up. And then you're just wasting time. So out of here, you want to get the boost out of the pipe to the right. Let me actually get it. Let me actually get it. Go into a roll immediately, because you're high enough. I recommend throwing a rock here. If you don't want to throw a rock, you don't have to. You just have to time the roll coming out. Recommend getting here, just climbing up. I don't recommend boosting to the top of the pipe, just holding up to it. And then this is the jump that a lot of people will fail and then be like, I can't believe I failed. It looks like an easy jump. But you have to really get on the edge to get there, and then you have to climb up it, which some people can just jump off the side of the wall or otherwise. I recommend throwing a rock and then going across. There is a green. May have just saw it kind of flicker for a second. It'll be in the right room. It could be anywhere in this next room. It could be anywhere in this room, more or less. Normally it'll be right here. The bad thing you don't want to see is it curled up right in this area, because then it's completely in the way. You really have to shove your face inside of it to get by, or you just wait, which sometimes it may not move because greens don't like to move. So that's one of the worries you should have. Coming through here, do not think about the green as an enemy that is dangerous. Let's talk about how enemies work for a second. Let's go with this way. I'm sure all of you are aware of what a vulture is. A vulture is this creature flying around. It has little floppy ear things. I believe that it is the floppy ear things that grab you and not the actual non-existent teeth that we can't exactly see because there's a mask or whatever. But as you can see, it comes down, has its floppy ear things out, and it tries to grab you, and it makes the specific noise. And its ears go back, and the ears slowly come back, and then it'll try to grab you again. I believe it's the ears that are actually trying to grab me. Mostly because I had someone else talk to me about this, and they're like, pretty sure it's the ears that actually grab you. Makes sense to me. Makes sense in terms of lizards, too. By that, I mean all lizards and all enemies, well, most enemies, have a charge time in terms of when they can bite you, grab you, and otherwise. You can see it on spiders when they like bring out their little fangs, and then greens have a really long charge time to actually do their bite, so that as long as they don't know you're there, you could just jump all over them. I'm about to jump all over this green. You should also not worry about flying into this green if it's right where I am. The biggest nuisance a green can be is either being a very flat area where it has seen you for a while, so it won't immediately bite you when you get to it because it's fully charged at that point, or it is just in the way, like in a pipe, or right now it would be really bad if it was just around this because you can't really get by. Like right now, I'm about to jump on this man, or just go directly under him. I wanted to jump over him, but he laid on me. Okay, don't fear the green. What you should fear is any and all purples and axolotls. Controller, please. I say this because their charge time is so incredibly low that you may as well consider it to be non-existent. And that it will just bite you immediately. There's always a purple in this. Well, I say always. There's always that chance if it's not being there. But always consider the purple and the green up on that ledge to the right, because we've dilly-dallied and walked around for 3 years. They kind of moved off. You want them to both fall down in the pit that the green is falling into and the purple is in. There's 3 ways to really cross this room. 1, have a spear be in the lower path where the purple is, spear it into the wall, climb up all the pegs and the spear you've made, and get up there. 2nd is doing what I'm doing, which is normal pounces across, and just kind of going up. I recommend waiting where that pipe is to go down, if they're stuck up there and just kind of flopping around up there biting each other, and they see you and they'll just fall off because they don't understand anything. Or you could be mentally insane and charge both of them with rocks and then beam them in the face and then run to the next room. I don't recommend that unless you're really going for a really, really good record. You should not worry about that, is what I'm saying. You can also go across the circles, but 1, that's another pounce that you need to do. 2, yes, you will land basically here at the end, so you could just go over anything that's there, sort of. But most importantly, you're on weirdo sloped circle surfaces that make 0 sense. So good luck to you. I don't know how it works. It's just magic. Okay. Coming into this room, you can actually get into a roll off the boost of the pipe. Whether you want to actually do that roll or not is up to you. There's a pole there. More often than not, I've missed grabbing it and just fallen down into the pit. I recommend throwing a rock or just jumping really close to the end and not really worrying about the pipe. Okay, next room, there's an axolotl. More often than not, that'll be in it. The axolotl could also follow the purple and be with the purple and the green in the room to our left. It could be somewhere in this room. It could be just about to bite us in the face when we're entering this pipe or exiting this pipe. So, way I put it is, don't worry about it. Be aware what the axolotl can do. That is, it can be right here, right when we're entering it. It could be right in this part below us. It could be where it is right now. You can see it right in the middle. It's climbing that pipe right there. It could be on the left, could be on the right pit. We want to fall into the middle pit where it is right now. Now, there's 2 ways you can really go into this room and fall into the middle pit. 1, you can boost out of the pipe and then just throw a rock and then kind of be either land on top of the circle to the left or just underneath it and then be on top of the pillar. More likely than not, you're going to fall into the pit to the left and then you're wasting a lot of time. I recommend coming out to here, charging a pounce, and falling right into the middle pit. Now, this is one of those scenarios where we did not expect the axolotl to be there. I'm going to say right now that you should be incredibly happy that you know where the axolotl is. Now, 2 things. 2 things could happen here. 1, axolotl is going to bite us immediately, and we are going to completely fail. I believe we still have a rock with us, so it's whatever. Or 2, it will charge up its lick first, try to lick us, either hit us and it not matter whatsoever, because we're just going to fall past it and break its lick, or it's just going to miss. We're going to fall into its face. It's going to be like, "Arr!" And then we're going to fall right down and then be fine. The worst place it can be is either coming up the pipe the little crawl space beneath us and then being ready to bite us while we're charging our pounce, or in the water in the middle pipe. If it is where it is right now, don't worry about it. Pounce right in its face. See, it will not bite you. It does not have that fast of reaction times. Alright. So now we're in the next room. Whether you believe whatever I just said about how the axle works or not, whatever. Just know that bites needs to be charged, and if the thing has a lick and it sees you at a distance first, a decent distance, it will try to charge its lick first, and it won't bite you that long. Right, so now we're in this room, the water room, and the whole water areas. There are no more enemies up to when we get to filtration. Everyone's favorite obligatory water levels. And one thing that we should know is that you can press A underwater and to boost a little bit more speed, but you lose a lot of air. And going to a choking state, a suffocating state, I can't even say the exact thing anymore, but going to a state of choking is not what we want at any point. At every point we can go through any part perfectly and then come out without choking. If it does happen, that's completely fine because we're happy we're not dead. The other thing is that you can press A to boost off of walls in pipes underwater without losing any air. It's just you lose air when you're in open water and pressing A to boost. Now I will say that the grab the poles that we're jumping out of the water to get is recommended that you press A slightly before getting to the surface so that you get enough boost so once you fly into the air you're going high enough to actually grab it. Like, not like that. Second time, sort of. I'll just kind of go through this room right now. If you miss it or do some sort of weird dolphin dive, I recommend not trying it again and just jumping off the wall and grabbing the pipe. It's because it's how weird the water can be sometimes. Boost off that, fall straight down, and we're going down. Something you should know right now, and mostly just be aware of. Probably not going to happen as I do this right now, but if you come in, well, on both sides of the screen, it's kind of this mirrored effect. It has this weird pocket to the left and the right that looks basically the same. Now, if you're trying to get to a pipe that is on the left side, if you come from the left side to get in that left side pipe, it is a great possibility on both of them that you will be repelled from some sort of physics bug from that pipe. It's very strange. In some cases, very subtle. In some cases, it's fairly violent. It's more like going out of bounds or going into a broken shelter or broken pipe where you just can't get into it and it forces you away. You should be aware of this, and if this happens to you, you should go back towards the middle divider, or if you're just crazy, go back out a little bit and go straight into the pipe that you're trying to go into. Now, it really only occurs on these two entrances to the pipes. We'll see what happens when I do it. It didn't do anything, but mostly you'll notice when you're trying to do something and your inputs aren't doing what it should be doing, basically. Alright, this part, if you have a spear, you're more or less just completely safe if you fall in the water, because you can just fall in the water, jump out to a side, spear the wall, climb up, you're completely fine. The good way to do this is to get Silcat to where its head is just poking out, hold left, and then as you're falling out, just hold up. Like that, and then you're basically directly under where you need to be. Don't worry about it. Something you should always know about. Don't worry about it. Okay, turned out fine. Sometimes you come out backwards. Okay, so we're starting. There's 3 different parts that are really wall jumping sections. One part changes into 2 different sections. something that you should be worried about more than anything is not you being against the wall, but you pressing jump when you're holding a direction, not when you're not holding a direction. So worry about pressing jump when you're holding a direction, not so much am I on the wall right now? Should I press jump now? Because if you're not holding against the direction while you're pressing jump, you're not going to do it correctly. And grab the pole. Grabbing the pole seems to be really weird on Switch when I tested it. This is all depending on how it feels to you. Boost off the wall, boost in, boost up. We're going up now. I recommend boosting off the horizontal sections. I believe there may be a better way to do it, but that's just the way I've done it. Okay, here's the 10-point fall. Now just witness everything perfect that's about to happen. Basically, we're trying to get into a teleport pipe that's at the bottom. You want to fast fall by pressing A, and then tap to the left the moment the screen transitions. And it should get it every time. Now, something about this right now is that if you do not feel like you got into this rightmost teleport pipe that I just went into fast enough, feel free to go up and get air and then come back down. What you should worry about more than anything is to actually finish your run. One thing I also will say is that going straight into that pipe, in comparative to swimming from the surface, from the rightmost pocket down to the teleport pipe, uses a lot less air. Well, just doing the dive and then going over to the other pipe uses a lot less air than swimming directly from the surface all the way down to the bottom. I will say that right now. Okay, something that really matters. You're going to have to see it when it's not paused a little bit more because the pause menu kind of cuts it off a little bit. This bottom right left pocket is the thing that you really need to be worried about in this area. Mostly because you want to get the boost out of the pipe. It doesn't matter, but you'll want it. If you ever get into a suffocating state, you will start floating upwards, whether that makes sense or not. So that means if you start suffocating at all, considering the pipe on the left that you're trying to get to is so low, you will die. So one thing you really want to do is just hold to the left and go hold down to the left once you get past the center median. You see the center median? You see the 3 dots? There's a singular dot poking out from the bottom. If you hit that, you're probably dead. That's all I'm going to say. So we're going to do it now. I missed the boosts, but it's whatever. I am not choking. I messed up the jump, and I'm just going to go off the wall. You got to do horizontal or vertical boost. It doesn't really matter. Off the pipes. Remember, they get boosts between coming from pipe to pole to top of pole to pole from pipe to pipe. And boost into here, boost off of this side. I recommend... Okay, let me do that again. This is something that's kind of important. Boost off of this. You're like this. You flip over. You quickly flip over, and then you're going face first down again. Okay, it's a little strange when you're trying to do it slow, but yeah. Here's another place where you either be awkwardly going like this, and then normally you just kind of bonk your head off the ceiling, and you can't do a roll. Honestly, it's whatever. Or you could do my crazy thing like earlier, and throw a thing behind you and go straight into this, and we're going up. Here's the second wall jumping part. So, I boost out of the pipe, grab the pole, get a little high, buy a boost, and then just worry about pressing jump when you're holding a direction. Worry about nothing else. And just pause a little bit longer for this section, and then you're up here, and then don't do that. Okay, I almost messed that up terribly. If you fall down there, it's over. That's all I'm gonna say. Normally you just want to jump off, and then you gotta just press jump immediately out of the roll when you hit it. Because you do not want to fall down there. That's a really bad spot where you can just fall down and the run's over. And we're going down. I recommend jumping immediately out of it, or just spreading a little bit, holding the last one a little bit longer. You can boost out of this pipe, tap jump like 2 or 3 times, and then immediately going into this. So what you want to do is for both of these vertical sections, you want to do them in 4 jumps, 4 wall jumps. So okay, whatever. 5 wall jumps, whatever. I don't know why I always said 4. It's because if you go off this wall or whatever. But basically, just hit this wall, the wall that is the one you're turning around 3 times. Don't know why I always called it 4. Whatever. Just be aware of that. Okay, this is the fall that you should mildly be aware of, because you either do this really fast or you should just be safe on it with, honestly, because it's going to be straight section and then you need to be immediately going to the right or you're going to die. Because immediately at the top, or you fall in the monster cup and you're not getting out of that easily. At least you're going to want to kill it with a spear if anything happens, and you're probably not going to have a spear, so don't fall down there. All right, we're belly sliding, we're jumping immediately, we're holding it a little bit. You want to jump out of this last one, and then you do not want to slide against the wall up there, but you also don't want to fall into this water, which is quite possible. Okay, we're not going to worry about that too much. Belly slide, going up, kind of often stuck like this at the end, just kind of flop into it. Doesn't matter, works out well. Now we're going to be going into filtration. Say we've done very good. Take our splits when we need to, when we enter, when we get there, or when we exit. Alright, so let's do the thing first. Who says if that's faster? Well, I don't know. So one more thing before I leave this part 2 off. Boost out of here, jump, jump. You want to go to the leftmost part to go down. But if you feel as though you're very new to this, feel as though I'm saying a bunch of random stuff that you don't care about, and you've been walking around for 3 hours and now need to get to a shelter. Right here, you're always safe. Get rid of this, because there is always 4 berries here. If you can see, I lit them all up, kind of hidden in the background a little bit. There's always 4 berries here, and you can always just take the shelter if you want, if you really want to do this. If you're doing pebbles %, it's also a decent shelter if you're new to it as well, as you will be going through this area all the same, as many of the runs do. So, I'll see you guys in part 3. Thank you for watching my half-hour adventure. And yeah, goodbye.